When I was younger, I relied on my Game Boy and later my Game Boy Color for a variety of entertainment needs, road trips, bus journeys, holidays. But there was one particular thing that my Game Boy was essential for. My mum looked after her boss's business when he was away. He had this badass apartment which overlooked the River Liffey, which was also part of the building where the business was located. However, I wasn't able to use the game consoles on the main TV in the living room as it was connected to all the CCTV which recorded what was going on downstairs. And even though there was a TV in the bedroom, that was where Mum slept, so I could only use it once in a while. So because of this, I was reliant on my trusty Game Boy Color, and I can't tell you how many hours I whiled away lying upstairs in the carpeted mezzanine, chilling with the boss's dogs, playing Pokemon Blue or Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, and it was freaking wonderful. I'm serious when I say this. I got so many hours of entertainment out of the Game Boy camera. It was like this portal into a whole new world of creativity. I even once made a mist-like walk around in my sister's house where you could click on part of an image and move to another room. I saw a video the other day of some motherfucker referencing the Game Boy printer as an unfortunate misstep by Nintendo in the same vein as the Virtual Boy. Look, if you weren't there, you couldn't possibly understand. That shit was magical, son. Game Boy games were what you'd call a mixed bag. Actually, no, let's not mince words. The vast majority of them were hot garbage. It was viewed as the more casual market long before casual gaming had its very own multi-billion-dollar industry, and thus it had very few blockbuster-type releases. Besides Pokemon, the only other game I remember which rivaled both the depth and breadth of the kind of things you'd find on 16-bit consoles was Link's Awakening, which I'd already played and cleared many times. And because of the lack of companies making what felt like serious games, the industry relied on these sketchy ports or reimagining of their graphically beefier counterparts, the result of which often ended poorly. And don't forget, by the time the Game Boy Color was out, it was competing with the PlayStation and N64. Saying that, I was thrilled bringing Home Alone in the Dark for the Game Boy Color from a wonderful shopping day my mum gave me in 2001, and that evening I watched in awe at the witchcraft-like design of a Resident Evil-style game on the go, and then my stomach dropped into my ass when I realised that I'd finished the whole thing in 90 minutes. That cost me £30. Just for reference, 2 years earlier Silent Hill on the PS1 sold new for $40, a game which took several hours to complete, had a plethora of unlockables, 5 endings, and New Game Plus along with a hard mode, whereas Alone in the Dark had a single, unchanging 90-minute campaign. So yeah, us teens in the 2000s were more than a little wary parting with our hard-earned parents' money to spend an average of 25 quid on what might turn out to be something wonderful like Mole-mania, but in reality, you were more likely taking home the hate crime which was Donkey Kong Land. But we children of Dunleary had a salvation, a little video game shop on the top floor of St. Michael's Mall that not only sold a variety of PC gaming and console paraphernalia, but they rented games too. They rented Game Boy games, which was just not a done thing at the big chain stores like Extravision. With my weekly pocket money, I was able to sling a few quid that merchant's way and take home a couple of Game Boy Color games to my mum's boss's apartment, lazing with them on those long summer days. I tried out Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel, which I just didn't gel with. You will probably have a much better time playing it on an emulator, but an actual Game Boy Color, those things didn't have any internal lighting. So playing a stealth game with those teeny tiny little sprites was really infuriating. Oh, there was this fucking game called Evel Knievel, which, okay, remember the Trials games back in the Xbox 360? Remember how good they were? Okay, now picture that, but being fucking abysmal.
She's holding the torch like a normal person now. Fucking hate this game so much.
I think I pushed myself for a full half an hour to try to get to grips with the physics of that thing, but it was painful and I just had to stop. I ended up renting a few games from that store, which ranged from disastrous to mediocre to decent, but completable within a few hours. Nothing that I'd actually want to buy. But then one day, as I lazily browsed the game shop for something that I hadn't tried, I picked up International Track and Field. I had played these types of games before. I even owned one on the Genesis when I was a wee lad, the aquatic game starring James Pond, and I knew that a lot of them amounted to little more than just mashing buttons really fast in order to win. But then I turned to the back of the box and, holy shit, this looks like an anime. I flung my money at the gaming proprietor, dashed from the store back home as fast as my legs would take me and slammed that thing into my Game Boy Color. There was an entire management-style RPG story alongside the 10 track and field events which you could play through. You had to work on your running, your jumping, throwing, stamina, while also balancing your training and relaxation as not to injure yourself. You could unlock special moves, get a girlfriend, train yourself to your limit, all to gain the glory of winning at the Nationals. And if you failed, you could do it all again the next year with some of your stats still intact. The game I hadn't even known I'd wanted, right there, in the palm of my hands. And what's flabbergasting is that in the year 2000, RPGs were at a high point in popularity. How did people not know about this game? I brought it over to Mum's boss's place and was absolutely absorbed with that thing for the entire weekend. While I did manage to get to the end, I was not able to achieve victory and I was heartbroken having to return it. A few months later, however, I got my own copy and played through that thing more times than I can count. I even remember where I was the first time that I beat the Nationals. It had been almost a decade since I revisited this portable masterpiece, so I decided, in the spirit of the role-playing genre, let's fucking roleplay. I started my first day as a junior at Hyper College and amp myself up as I arrive at the track. I see our manager Leanne, who's a smoking hot 7, and she hands me my Motas fitness assistant, and after a burst of cheetah-like speed, it tells me what a badass I am in cold, hard data. I plan my first week of training and Toby interrupts my totally sick dashing session. I'm pretty sure he wants a piece of my tight glute, so I ditch him. Leanne's at our monthly team practice and I blow her mind with a stunning display of athletic prowess. She seems sufficiently impressed. I go home and comb my magnificently thick hair, and as I watch the highlights of the world event, I fantasize about my place in it. Orion easily took the top honours, but looking at the size of his body, we both know he had an unfair advantage by being black. Wait, did I say that out loud or just think? Oh, fuck! I'm busy at training and some asswad called Thorpe comes over and says some really mean things to me, which I pretend doesn't affect me because I don't want Leanne to think I'm a puss. I go home and dream about burning that motherfucking college to the ground. I can't get that son of a bitch out of my head, so I take the car Daddy bought me to go to the bad part of town to score some H and beat up some homeless. I feel better. Leanne hands me a towel and she totally starts giving me the eyes. Coach wants to see my ball handling ability and is only somewhat impressed. Kerry helps me improve my technique and Terry wants to teach me something called back jump.
What do you think? Gaia?
Some incel nerd hits on me and I call him a fat. He tases me in the neck and I wake up in the hospital. To relieve my boredom, Leanne gives me an old-fashioned under the bed sheets but then leaves abruptly. I get out of hospital and go down to the track and we sneak behind the tool shed to get busy. When she infers that she needs some help clearing away the equipment, I stare at her in silence until she becomes uncomfortable, then I walk away. I take a bump of Bolivian flake and remind myself what a fucking winner I am. We get to the decathlon and as veteran athlete North explains the rules of the competition, I can't help but notice, in a completely platonic way, how the sweat glistens on his rippling, toned body. Torp tries to shake my resolve by showing me his data and my eye twitches very slightly when I notice his running skill is higher than mine. But it don't matter. Because we all know it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the... Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. Hiroyuki, you just made the list, you pancake-looking motherfucker. I push on with my training and Toby starts hitting on me. I ignore him, offering him a bump, and we stare into each other's eyes for a long time. To drain out my SARS at the decathlon, me and my boy Harley go into the town, we get twisted. Harley fingers some old lady and I throw up on a stripper. Janine lures me into the forest to have her way with me. She's aggressive and kind of mean, and I actually sort of like it. I meet that creepy nerd again and he offers me some pills. We go out and party and I wake up in my room the next day with a sore ass. After training, Leanne asks me if I want some company. I say yes, but all I can think about is how hard it was to keep pace with Janine in the forest. Distracted, I don't notice the car screeching towards us, and in a daring show of heroism, I protect Leanne. Leanne becomes... oh, no. Harley knows something's up and starts giving me shit. Frustrated, I go home and watch Backdoor Boys and smoke some rock. Still ashamed of my spastic performance at the decathlon hurdles, Janine shows me a technique to package my rage, and I pretend those hurdles are my physically disabled brother who I push over when I'm bored. I'm so drunk that I've pissed my pants, and seeing this, Janine offers to be my girlfriend. I accept, but her freaky batshit sanity in the bedroom does not take long to break my manhood. In the hospital, I ring up Leanne to emotionally bully and gaslight her, but she's not home, so in a coked-up haze, I leave a nonsensical abusive rant on Harley's answering machine. After calling two of the nurses a cunt and a male nurse a steam boy, the doctor kicks me out. I try and rest at home, but Janine drags me out on December 25th and tries to convince me to do it with her in the nativity scene in the town square. My dick still hurts, so I decline. The next week, I try and sweet-talk Leanne, but the words feel empty. My relationship now feels hollow, a respectable front as a counterweight for the filth that is Janine. Harley tries to guilt-trip me about two-timing and I punch him in the mouth. I go home, smoke a bowl, watch Twink Scout Adventures and cry myself to sleep. The next day, Janine compliments my running and I tell her to suck a dick. I ask Harley out in the town. Neither of us say anything and I get so drunk I give him some hand action under the table at a hostess bar. The next morning, I'm so coked up that I have a cardiac episode and after a few days of recovery, oh God. I'm in hell. I make a resolution to kick the drugs and focus all my energy on training. I stay away from the allure of that freaky forest pussy. I decline the propositions of strange men offering me a massage, no matter what Satan whispers in my ear. Mustache teaches me a new move called lift off, and I fail to learn a new technique for the disc, cause fuck you, Carrie, you fucking asshole. Okay, it's okay. I'm calm. I'm calm. I qualify for the nationals like a fucking beast, and it's off to training camp to work on those sexy dashes, and I sit by myself in a hot bath thinking about how good it's going to feel when I fuck Thorpe in the ass. I'm feeling good. I got my run maxed out. I'm geared up. You better believe that Thorpe and Mr. North are going to find this competition rather... Son of a bitch! It doesn't matter, because I return the next year more coked up and angry than ever. Thorpe comes over to brag, and I just pull out my and stare at him right in the eye until he walks away. I know in my heart it was the right thing to do. At the decathlon, that piss stain reveals his secret weapon, the R-dash. Oh, I've got you now, you son of a bitch. I come second in the decathlon but feel good because I start sending threatening letters to Thorpe's mother. I throw shit, I jump shit, I get some of that forest strange with Janine. I reconnect with Leanne because she agrees to let me do it hermit style. Toby keeps macking and that chocolate temptress seduces me with his words. I wake up feeling confused and ashamed. I take a bump and spend a whole week trying to run off all the gay. It's nationals time again. And with one more bump and some amals and a little bit of China White, I know I'm fucking ready. Let's fucking go. Thorpe gets out ahead of me in the 100 meters, but I stay focused. I keep my eye on the prize, and in those last 10 meters, yeah, booyah! I absolutely smoked the competition in the long jump. I don't shot that putt quite as well as I'd have liked. I leap with the grace of a gazelle in the high jump, but Thorpe and North are a little more gazelle than I. With the R-dash equipped, I blaze the 400 meters. It's the end of the first day, and I'm out in front. Number one, son. Day 2 and those hurdles don't mean shit to me. Get the fuck out of my way, Bill, you gimpy waste of skin. I take a bump to remind myself of how much better I am than everyone else. My discus throw goes a little ass, but I dominate the pole vault, and then I hurl that fucking javelin like daddy throwing another subpar meal at mother and... What? Holy fucking fuckballs. It's okay, Cactus. You're just 56 points behind. 56 points ain't shit. Just take another bump and... You got this. You're the man, remember? You are the man. The very best. Like no one ever was. The 1500 starts and I'm out in front. About halfway through and I'm feeling the effect of all that horse and rock I did last night with Harley and I start to tire, but I know I'm okay because... No, you motherfucker. Get back here. Oh, you want to get past? Oh, maybe? Maybe? No. Yeah, fuck you, you flaccid crayon of a man. I'm the fucking best. I finished first in the 1500 meter, but is it enough? They announce the results. I hold my breath and... Another year and my run's gone down to a fucking B. You know what B stands for? Bullshit. We're back in the hamster wheel and we watch the highlights. God, I fucking hate that Thorpe so much. We push ourselves even harder this year and then... Let's go again. By the time I get to the decathlon, I'm pretty baked. I keep forgetting what I'm supposed to be doing. I look down at several unknown stains in my track uniform and... Hi. Yeah, cool. Damn, she was pretty cute. I'm pretty checked out during the competition, bleary-eyed and walking through a purgatory of depression and anxiety, barely even knowing who I am anymore. And then when they announced the results, I won. I won. That cute blonde Michelle comes and asks me for a picture and totally starts macking on me. Huh, I guess blondes prefer winners. She sends a letter of our photograph and this newfound adoration and affection and a bunch more cocaine helps me gain my second wind. She asks me out on Christmas and she shows me a world of filth and debauchery that I never even knew existed. I think I love this girl. But the next day when I wake up through my coke-filled haze, there's something I feel like I'm forgetting. Something important. Oh no. After paying off the appropriate authorities, I continue with my child bride. She tells me that I'm destined to be a star. She's sure of it. Michelle provides me with copious amounts of performance-enhancing drugs to ensure the victory that we both know I deserve. Activating steroids. destroy. We dominate. I bask in the glory as I listen to the roar of the crowd. Feel the intoxicating rush of adrenaline surging through my body. Drink in the adulation of my peers and who the fuck are you? Get away from me. Ew. I stand face to face with my rival, ready to put all of this behind us, raising my hand for a high five. And then I punch him right in the dick. Ha! I stand tall and proud from my rightful place atop the podium and wonder what destiny awaits, what greatness I shall achieve, and how the world will be mine.